All right, so we're going to make a truth table for, oh dear, sorry about that, lots of mistakes here, for this statement. So this is a statement that has 3 variables, and we're going to work through each of the stages. So this has parentheses here, right? And then it has the or, and then this, there is an implied parentheses. I'm not, really, they're just implied that it's not R, right? So that's implied around there. All right. So let's dig in. Okay. So first I'm going to start by listing my P, Q, and R. And so again, I have a strategy, hopefully that will help you. So I'm going to start by putting all 4 truths. So part of the challenge is to stay nice and neat so that you make nice rows going across, right? 4 truths and then 4 falses. Okay, so this second column with the Q, I'm going to encourage you to make a true and a true, a false and a false, a true and a true, a false and a false. Then this last would be true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false. Okay, so what I'm doing is having a strategy to get all the combinations in, because I have 2 choices for P, 2 choices for Q, 2 choices for R. So there should be 8 options, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options, and I've listed them all so that I've got all different possibilities. Okay, so now I'm just going to go straight across here, and I'm going to make a column for P and Q. All right, so I'm just going to go slow. So P and Q, remember, is only true if both of them are true. So P and Q, this is true. P and Q, this is true. True and false, that's false. True and false, that's false. False and true, that's false. Remember, try to stay nice and even, right? Straight lines here. False and true, that's false. False and false, that's false. False and false, that's false. Okay, so remember, the only time you get a true out of a conjunction is, or the and statement is, when they're both true. Okay, so now the next statement is I'm going to make an and R, or I'm sorry, the negation of R. Then I'll do the or statement. Okay, so the negation of the R, I know it sounds like a simple statement, like, oh, couldn't I just do this in my head? I'm just going to encourage you not to. It's so much easily to make mistakes on. So I'm just going through and taking the negation of each of those statements. Okay, so now I'm ready to do P and Q, or not R. So I'm doing the or, so if one of them is true, then it's true. So true or false is true. True or true is true. False or false is false. False or true is true. False or false is false. False or true is true. False or false is false. False or true is true. So there it is. So that's the truth table for this statement. All right, a couple more here. Definitions. So what does it mean to be logically equivalent? So make sure you're reviewing these definitions so that you understand what it means, so you could write it out in words. So logical equivalence is if they have the same truth table values. So 2 statements are logically equivalent if they have the same truth values for each of the substitutions. So logical equivalence, we say by these 3 like equal signs, right? So this is said to be logically equivalent to this if I can show their truth table values are the same. So let's go through and show that. So I'm just going to make my P, and so this really just have 2 letters, right? P and Q, and I'm going to do P if P, if and only if Q here. Okay, so again, I have 2 values, so true, true, false, false, true, false, true, false. Okay, so P if and only if Q is only going to be true if they're both true, or both the same, I'm sorry. If they're both the same. So true if true, yes. True if false, nope. False if true, nope. False if false, that's true. They're both the same. Okay, so now I want to go through and I want to pick this apart. Ooh, okay. So let's go do, I've got my P and Q set up here, right? So how about if I, right here, make another column and make if P then Q, the conditional statement, right? So I'm making that right here. It's because I've got my true and falses for my P and Q set up. So this is if I show up, then I get the job, right? If I show up, then I get the job. That's true. If I show up and I don't get the job, that's false. If I don't show up and I get the job, that's vacuously true, and this is vacuously true. So there's really just one situation that it's false if I show up and I don't get the job, right? All right, so I'm using the same P's and Q's, and I'm going the opposite direction. So if true, then true, that's true. If I don't show up and I get the job, that's true. Uncle owns the company, right? Don't show up, then I get the job. If I show up and I don't get the job, that's the one that's false. If I don't show up and I don't get the job, that's vacuously true as well. Okay, so the last column will be doing the and, right? So the conditional, if P then Q, and if Q then P. Okay, so the and statement, remember they both have to be true in order to get an answer of true. If true, true and true, that's true. False and true, that's false. True and false, that's false. True and true, that's true. Okay, so to know that there's logical equivalence, I should have the same truth table values in these columns. So this column and this column should match. Do they? They do, in fact. True is true, false is false, false is false, true is true. So they are logically equivalent because they have the same truth table values.